Hello and welcome to Goddess Resurrection. My name is Britta and I am your host, and today's episode is a very special treat. This is my wonderful sister goddess and close friend Erika, and I want to read her bio to you to introduce her properly. Erika Halweil has been teaching yoga since 1998. She shares a dynamic, deeply breath centered approach to these life changing practices. She infuses her teachings with knowledge from many masters from around the world. Erika furthered her exploration of the human body with an advanced degree in nutrition, anatomy, physiology, Ayurveda, and reflexology. And she is also a holistic intuitive practitioner who specializes in nervous system and brain pattern rewiring. Now, and she's of course also the most amazing creature on this planet and the smartest woman I know. And she's a mother and she's a wife. And thank you so much for being here and making the time, Erika Halweil.
Thank you for having me back.
This is part two. Part two, please make yourself give yourself that time and go to part one, last week's episode. We dove into the subject of the feminine energy and really taking it into the body. We spoke about how the masculine energy and the ego tries to keep us out of the body and protects the suppression and all of the conditioning that lies within it. And so we will dive into some beautiful shares that Erika wants to bless us with today. But let's just see if there's anything else we want to touch on before.
It really is a very deep rebalancing that needs to take place on a cellular level, on an earth level, on a soul level, in an individual incarnation level. And I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed. Like I have been doing this work with Britta for almost as long as my eldest daughter has been alive. So, 17 or 18 years. And like anything, you need to give yourself time and space. I mean, that really is the lesson of this moment in time. And that is also the lesson of the feminine energy, to give yourself time and space. If you're triggered, enjoy the trigger. That's a starting point for you. If you're not triggered and you just find yourself like nodding, like mindlessly nodding, slow down. That's all taking place in the mind. Let it land, right? Let it land in the body and then don't judge it, right? Britta, so much is like breathing and feeling. Don't name it. Don't reduce it. Don't reject it, right? Just keep receiving, keep receiving, keep releasing, keep receiving, keep releasing. So, yes, there is a vastness here. There's also a simplicity here. So,
Yes, exactly. This is what we touched on in the first segment, that there's all the storage, all of the unfelt, suppressed emotions and memories that stay in the body. And so, of course, with certain practices, such as the breath, for example, we can open that door, and some of the things you will share about how to work with the nervous system, because the nervous system is yet another aspect to this deepening process, to this healing process, because the nervous system is not used to
mm,
all that feeling and all that breathing and all that light and all that expansion
yes.
and all that growth and all that newness. And so it is important to stay very much attentive to it.
Mm. Yes, I mean, I mentioned it in the first segment, but most people are beginning from a real place of overwhelm already. Their systems are overwhelmed, right? We just keep adding. right? I say all the time, like we are over consuming and we are undernourished. And the consumption is not just what we take in our diet. Anything our senses are exposed to, they're taking it in. They're eating it, right? You can think of them as that all of that as a nutrient. So is it a nourishing nutrient or is it a junk food? Right? We have obviously junk food in our diet, right? Food that looks like food, smells like food, might even taste like food, but is devoid of nutrition. We have junk light now, right? So we're not spending as much time outside. We're not spending as much time following the circadian rhythm of life, meaning waking up at first light and doing all the living things during light, and then starting to wind down before the darkness and sleeping with the darkness. So, to make the way that we live possible, there's all this junk light now, fake light. Because the light from the sun is a nutrient. It's a powerful nutrient that communicates with every single body system in a way that modern medicine has not even fully uncovered. So instead, we find ourselves inside fluorescent lighting, LED lighting, the excessive blue light from the computer screens, from the phone screens, and that needs to be dealt with. We are being bombarded by that. That needs to be dealt with. For the ears, it's nonstop. Listening to a podcast, no offense to us, right? Listening to the radio, listening to gossip, right? That's junk food for the ears. Listening to judgment, listening to your own harmful self-talk, right? So that's a type of junk food that's happening continuously. And all of these things are happening continuously and they need to be processed. And they're not all processed by your digestive system. The majority of them are processed by your nervous system, your lymphatic system, and maybe even your immune system, right? And then, of course, don't get me started with artificial fragrances, synthetic fragrances, how overwhelming that is to the nose, to the point where you can't even smell anything but that. And in terms of touch, I don't know that there's junk touch, not to go like rogue, but the only thing I could think about maybe with junk touch is a two-part thing. One would be porn addiction and excessive mindless self-pleasuring that is devoid of connection, right? And then the other thing would be to, and I think it's something you spoke about just the other day, Britta, but this idea of allowing anyone into your sacred space, right? Not developing the muscle of discernment and recognizing, the sacredness of your, not just your inner body space, but your auric space. You are a temple unto yourself, and your auric field needs tending the same way a garden needs tending. So that could maybe be this junk touch, desecrating the temple in that way without true connection, without a true acknowledgement of the energy that is being exchanged. So that was a very long-winded answer to show you how much we're consuming on every level all the time, all the time, and how little of it might actually be serving us.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. And again, that's the masculine energy driving that more, 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 not discerning really what is junk and what is actually nurturing,
Mhm.
right? Whereas, again, the goal is to find the balance, to come more into the feminine energy, to come more into the breath, the pause, the moment, right? The what am I actually feeling? How did this make me feel? The awareness, especially us as women, we have such tremendous sensory and awareness,
Yeah.
right? For us not to use that is like a waste of a lifetime.
Well, the other thing that tends to happen from the overconsumption, right, the noise,
Mhm.
is it's all much louder than the only voice of wisdom that is worthwhile, which is the voice of the intuition. Right?
Mhm.
So yes, even your own thinking can make it impossible for you to understand what you're feeling. We're not even at the intuition yet. We're just understanding, what am I feeling? And then when you add all the noise of the world, and then you're thinking about the noise of the world, it's a lot of noise. And then sometimes we do things to mask that feeling of overwhelm, which end up being more noise. So I think the important thing, I keep saying it again and again, and we're going to see it when we engage in whatever we engage in. I have no idea what we're going to do yet, but it will come in the moment, as the best things really do arise in the moment, is everything needs to be bookended with time and space, right? Even if we're just going to take 3 breaths, there's a moment of settling, recognizing this is what we're choosing to do. We're choosing to be completely present with what we have chosen, what we have decided, that we're opening ourselves up completely to receive it, right? We're with it. We are with it. And then you also get to practice this amazing skill, which creates safety in the body, of making a promise or saying you'll do something and actually doing it. Right? That's something that's missing a lot of the times. And then we get involved in this cycle of feeling that we're failing or whatever it is. And then once you've completed the micro practice, these are micro practices, then sitting, right? Sitting in the residue, sitting and not naming it and not judging it and not classifying it as and not checking it off a list. Just sitting and letting yourself come out slowly. So imagine if you did that. I mean, the ultimate in nervous system regulation is allowing that kind of structure. And that's a great use for the masculine energy. The structure is part of the masculine energy, right? And it's holding and protecting the delighting, the magnificence of the feminine, right? And I don't mean the magnificence of the girl and the structure of the boy. These are energies. I told you, I used to have too much masculine energy, right? So you can have all of them. You have all of them. Everything does. But so that will be the main takeaway, I hope. It's not so much like, let me write down what did she say to do, but whatever it is that I'm doing, can I hold it in this container? So there's no urgency, so there's no rushing, so there's no scrambling. And there's also no disregard for your time and energy because you're honoring it, you're observing it, you're experiencing it.
Yes, yes, yes. So beautifully said. And
Yeah.
what I wanted to just share quickly is that, and you said it earlier on, that now when we're doing a clearing or when it's a moon, it's just take whatever is not off my highest light, just take it out, let me see it, let's get rid of
Push
it,
up.
let's take it out, let's or integrate it, heal it, right? Whatever these energies need that are blocking self from this expansion
Mm,
that we are now able to step into simply
yeah.
because of these higher frequencies. And so what I want to say is, if you've done nothing ever, start now, start slow, keep being patient, but also
Mm,
don't put a time frame to it in terms of, okay, it'll take a year, right? No, it's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong,
oh my gosh.
like you said, you're always wanting to learn. I am always wanting to learn. I'm always wanting to go deeper. I am committed to going deeper for the rest of the time that I'm in this body,
Yes.
right? And there is always going to be more. And the deeper we go, the more we're able to hold. And it's a very empowering
Mm,
experience that actually shifts us into quantum. It shifts us into limitlessness in
yes.
so many ways, right? So it's a hugely important practice to have for self now moving into these higher frequencies. But
Yeah.
Erika, take it away. Show us
Oh,
what you
really?
want to share.
Well, I just like to say that I think one of the reasons that yoga practices always appeal to me so much is that they are an opportunity for an experiential understanding of consciousness. And then the work that I do with Britta, or the work that I do on my own because of the work that I do with Britta, is a way to explore that consciousness that is separate from my yoga practices. But I don't remember if I said it in this video or in the previous. It's very easy to get trapped in cleaning the body, strengthening the body, refining the body through exercise, through diet, through sleep. And it's like, you know what? Yes, that is all essential. It is foundational. You do need to understand what serves your vitality on the physical. Without that, it's very difficult to have these experiences that are more subtle. So that's not to say like you've got to, change everything about your life before you start this work, but there is a sense of refining those things will pacify an overwhelmed nervous system, will make it easier for you to settle into the breathing, right? Will make it easier for you to feel safe in your body. So much like everything in yoga, every entry point will eventually take you all the way in or all the way beyond, right? Transcendent. But all of the entry points need to be observed, need to be addressed, need to be refined, depending on your goal. Like Britta said, her goal is to go deeper forever in this lifetime, right? And so, not to speak for her, but I know that she chooses to live in a way that supports that, and allows for her to experience the depth of her own breath, of her own work, of her own expansive light flow, So, we're going to start really, really basic today because I'm only going to share exercises, micro exercises and practices that will serve you no matter what. You got a tummy ache, you can do this. You didn't sleep well last night, you can do this. Been fighting for 2 weeks with your best friend, like you can do this. Like whatever is going on, these are accessible entry points. Is that okay, Britta? If we just start so slow? Okay, great. So the first thing you're gonna do, and I'm gonna close my eyes, so sorry. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is just close your eyes. And if you find your eyes keep opening to look at the screen, that's fine. Just close them again. And rest your hands on your lap. If you're laying down, you can rest your hands on your belly. And I want you to feel that your eyelids close from top to bottom. There's a beautiful downward energy to the top eyelid. And I want you to feel that your jaw or your mouth closes from bottom to top. It's a little bit of an upward energy through the bottom jaw. Maybe with your mouth closed, you can start to become aware of where your tongue is in your mouth. See if you can encourage the tongue to rise up to the roof of the mouth. Noticing that the curve of the roof of your mouth is the perfect shape for your tongue. And when the tongue rests upward, all tension in the jaw relaxes. When the eyelid rests downward, all the tension in the brow and the temple skin relaxes. Now all you're going to do is exhale through your nose. And then we'll try to inhale for a count of 4. And exhale for 6. Inhale for 4. And exhale for 6. Inhale for 4. And exhale for 6. Now let the breath relax. Let it return to whatever conscious or unconscious rhythm. Slow blink the eyes open. Be looking down before you look out. And just noticing any shift in the feeling of your body, any shift in the tone of your voice if you wanted to speak a few words. And always letting something as simple as 3 conscious breaths be a preliminary to any delving into the body, right? Everything begins with the breath. The breath is the way, right? We rest our awareness in the breath. We invite the breath within the body. We bring all those aspects of ourselves right here into this moment. So honestly, that's the very first thing I teach. Actually, it's the second thing. I skipped a step, but it's okay. I think that we're advanced beginners and we could start there.
And what an what a beautiful and easy, simple practice to take with you on your lunch break,
Mm,
while you're on the bus, or while you're walking your dog, even, right? Or in between things that need to get done, because it is really so applicable to any
mhm.
location. And it
Yes.
also really allows for the energy field to settle so beautifully too.
Yes. There's
Yeah.
something for me, because most of the senses exist in the face, and the senses are the tools of perception for the mind, and our minds are wildly running all over the place. I really love to do that precursor where we soften the eyes and where we soften the jaw, even though we're actively holding it closed. And there's something about that downward energy and upward energy that just really feels like I'm choosing to contain my senses to this moment. I'm asking my senses to rest with this moment. And ideally, it would bring a little bit of ease because maybe you don't even realize that you're holding tension. And so, this is an opportunity. For me, it's almost a Pavlovian response at this time, closing my eyes in that way, closing my mouth in that way. And I literally feel a downward, I don't want to say rush, it's like a flow of energy downward. And as the energy moves down, any unconscious gripping just kind of goes. So, when you explore this, when you do this on your own, you'll discover your own way of giving yourself the indicator, I'm ready to relax. I feel safe and I am ready to settle into this seat. And if you're looking for times in the day to do that simple practice, before you eat would be the most profound. So we used to take a moment, we would say grace, right? In some cultures, some traditions. What's really happening there? People are holding hands. So there's beautiful connection through touch. They're closing their eyes and maybe even remembering their connection to something greater than themselves. And they're cultivating gratitude. And that really does something for your digestive capabilities. So before a meal would be a great time to do that. After work, before you go home would be a great time to do that. If you're dealing with a moment of overwhelm, this next exercise might be better. Good. So, This exercise we're actually going to do it in a two-parter. Okay, so I'm going to take my thing off so you can see where I'm going to be touching. But so this section here between your sternum and the hollow at your throat is often called the high heart. I have my little moonstone hanging there. Okay. The high heart is also like a really great place for stretching the muscles of the neck. Okay. So what we're going to do is either hand is fine. You're going to lay one hand on your high heart and your other hand on top of your high heart. And then you're going to push your hands in to your body and pull down. So you're going to feel like you could actually feel you're pulling a lot down, right? I'm going to be talking, but you're going to close your mouth. And if you can rest the tongue on the roof of the mouth, great. And with this pushing in and pulling down, you're going to inhale and lift your chin up. And you lift it up comfortably high as you pull the pressure of the high heart down. It's a big stretch in the front of the neck. Keeping the mouth closed, 3 breaths of any shape, any size, any sound. Noticing what the inhale does to the sensation, noticing what the exhale does to the sensation. And then slowly bring the chin back to eye level. Good. Beautiful. We're going to do the same thing again. Push in, pull down. Now you'll inhale and lift your chin up. And then I want you to turn your head, I don't know, 10 degrees to the right. Pull down. 2 more breaths. One more. And then inhale the head back to center. My camera keeps shifting. Hopefully that won't be too bad. We're going to switch. Whatever hand you had on the bottom, now put it on the top. Press your hands in. Pull your hands down. Inhale, lift the chin up. And then turn the chin, the head 10 degrees to the left. It doesn't matter if you have a different degree amount. You're pulling down, you're reaching up, and then inhale, return to center. Great. And relax your hands for a second so you can feel how much unconscious tension exists there in your throat. And we want to open that up because the next exercise is for vagal toning, toning of the vagus nerve, which runs from the 10th cranial nerve down the sides of your neck into every single organ of your body. Every single organ of your body. It also connects to the voice box. It connects to every sense organ of the face and all the facial muscles. And we're going to add a mudra that's kind of funny. We're only going to do the first half of it. So I'm going to describe it to you. You're going to use your thumbs to cover your ears. You see this little flap of cartilage that you have in front of your ear? Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing we're going to do with our arms. Eventually, we're going to press in gently and we're going to use that flap to close the ear canal. Okay? The rest of our fingers, we're going to just lay over our eyes. You are not touching your eye. You see how I'm not touching my eye?
Mhm.
I'm laying it over the hollow of the eye, no pressure on the eyelid. There's a more advanced mudra, but this is what we're doing because it's very accessible. Peekaboo. Okay, good. So we're going to keep the elbows up high. We're going to inhale through the nose. We're going to close the ears, rest the fingers over the eyes, and then we're going to hum for twice as long as the inhale. So we'll do a short inhale and a nice long exhale. We'll do it 3 times. So when you're done humming, you'll just lift your thumb off your ear, keep your hands, take another inhale, close the ear and hum. And you want the hum to go up. Right now, right? It's an upward hum. Okay, so thumbs on the cartilage, elbows nice and high. Rest your hands over your eye socket. Inhale through the nose. Close the ears, long hum. Open the ears, inhale through the nose, close and hum. One more. Open the ears, inhale through the nose, close and hum. Open the ears, keep your elbows up. Inhale and exhale. And relax the elbows and relax the hands. And so that would immediately change the way you feel, right? Change the way you feel. And you can do that as many times, as you want. My camera move.
That's okay. That's
Oh.
okay.
I really love that one. That one is called the bee's breath. The word in Sanskrit is Brahmari. And you might know this, Britta, but other people may not, that the frequency with which bees buzz is very, very healing, right? Not just for us, but bees buzzing and some other insects as well, they do a type of nervous system regulation for the earth collective, right? It's a frequency that in our body is experienced in the heart center. So there are places in the world where there are healing huts. They're called bee huts, and they're built above elaborate beehives. And when people are very sick, chronically ill, they go into the bee hut and they lie on a bed above the buzzing of the bees. And they're nourished and they're recalibrated by that vibration. So people often say, like, I live in the city, I can't get out into nature to help me regulate. And I remind them, you are nature. And through the tools of your body and your mind and your senses in particular, you can create these healing frequencies that exist in nature. You can bathe in them within your own body. And that humming, that upward humming, uh, is a beautiful tool to use. And even without the hand position, humming is so healing for the throat chakra, so healing for the heart.
I mean, honestly, I am so relaxed. I don't even want to talk at all anymore. I'm like, ah.
Isn't it amazing? I think sometimes people think when they hear something like that, that people aren't being totally honest, you know? But it's because you do have to be all in for these practices to work.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be thinking while you're doing them, this is strange, or I don't like humming, or once I was humming and someone made fun of me for humming. You can't let it take you somewhere else. I mean, these practices are all gifts to bring you here. And again, it goes back to that idea, can you allow yourself to feel comfortable in your body, to feel safe in your body? Can you trust that you were born whole and perfect and with everything that you need? And can you let your life's journey be an exploration of remembering the tools that serve you? Because the reason there's so many different teachers is because there are so many different receivers to those words. So what is going to inspire you? I think a lot about, I'll teach, a student some silly thing, deepen your hip crease or whatever that is, and they won't do it the way I'm telling them to do it. I won't see the shift in their pelvic angling. And then they'll go away on a vacation and they'll take some like random weightlifting class and they'll come back and they'll say, the teacher told me the craziest thing about my pelvis, that it's not like in a neutral position. And they showed me to do it this way. And I'm like, huh, like I've been telling you to do that for 20 years, you know? And sometimes you just need a different voice. You just need a different practice. You just need the same practice presented in a different light on a different day. So to go back to what you were saying, Britta, about not putting a timestamp on this journey and not putting a sense of urgency on this journey, but really letting it be a very curious and a very humble inner exploration. You're just being reminded of things. You are remembering things. You are not being re-educated, right? We are triggering the memory of how to care for ourselves. And everyone's recipe is unique. Even though they all have the same ingredients, how much of each ingredient is unique. And so, yeah, I don't even know if we have more time, but those two practices are a game changer if you sprinkle them through your day.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. I can really feel it. I can really notice such a big shift, and I can hear the grid. I can hear the frequency so much louder right now. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to like go take myself somewhere to just be. It's
For, yeah.
incredible. Such a small little practice. I'm gonna do this
For,
every day.
yeah. For me, it's funny what I've really been noticing lately, as I do these things to like just let go of any urgency, any unconscious urgency, any push to go faster, um, is immediately I just feel more space around my body.
Yes,
It's
yes.
really interesting. Like I just feel, I don't know, not that my physical form has widened or that the room has in any way gotten larger, but there's nothing pressing, right? There's nothing pressing. It's all emanating, right? It's not closing in. And
Mhm.
that is an amazing gift to be able to give yourself.
Yes, yes, that's such an amazing gift. And thank you so much for sharing these beautiful gifts with us. I will so cherish these practices.
Simple.
So beautiful, so simple, but so deep. So deep.
If you allow them.
Yes.
That's the thing. And
Mhm.
it goes back to my story. I think it was from the other video. I can't remember, right? How judgment
Mhm.
can really keep us from the miraculous abundance of now, the infinite abundance of right now. Judgment just doesn't allow for any other experiencing.
Mhm. Yes, that's the truth. That's the truth. And as much as I would love to stay with you, we are way over time,
I'm
way
so
over time.
sorry.
Please let everybody know where and how they can get a hold of you.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at Erika Halweil or my website, thelifeglowproject.com. There are several ways to work with me. If you feel uncertain, I encourage you to book something called a life balance inquiry. It's just a 30-minute conversation that really shines the light on all of the different areas of your life that really love to be tended to, and the ways that we can tend to them in small doses or in larger doses. It really is my honor and privilege to help people enjoy their life more. I mean, joy is your birthright. Being excited when you wake up in the morning, that is your natural state. Wanting also to go to sleep at night is your natural state. So it's these very, very basic, basic things that help us open up to what a gift it is to be given this body, this consciousness in this lifetime. So
Mhm, mhm, yes. And I actually did wake up with such excitement this morning, knowing that we would be doing this together.
so great. So great.
So great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for taking the time, for sharing of yourself in such beautiful ways. I love and appreciate you so, so, so very much.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to everyone in Britta's community. It's really a pleasure to be with you always.
Yes, thank you. And likewise. And as always, everybody, thank you so much for joining. Please leave comments, keep asking questions as to what's unclear, what else you want me to talk about. And I am grateful for your time and your energy and your presence on this platform. And as always, I am sending love and light blessings to you and yours. Hugs and kisses. Ciao.